lost, I feel, I'm just lost, I feel. I need time to heal, I can't steer the wheel, cause this driving kills, and it gives me chills. A nice road it feels, I slip off the peel, and crash all the steel. Will I ever heal? I can't move on till I let go. I feel so lost, never at home. Need to be strong, every breath hold, cause I can't move on till I let go. I can't move on till I let go. I feel so lost, never at home. Need to be strong, every breath hold, cause I can't move on till I let go. Swear I won't forget this, why do I regret this? In my mind reckless, thoughts are feeling endless. Sitting up I'm breathless, anxiety's infectious. I feel so defenseless, betrayed and embarrassed. I hate being open, I hate being broken. I feel like an ocean filled up with emotion. Anger ain't a potion, rub it on like lotion. I can feel it soaking, reopen, the scars have awoken. I can't move on till I let go. I feel so lost, never at home. Need to be strong, every breath hold, cause I can't move on till I let go. I can't move on till I let go. I feel so lost, never at home. Need to be strong, every breath hold, cause I can't move on till I let go. The pain makes it real, I don't wanna feel, I just wanna kill the bad thoughts and steal a good thought and feel. I'm just lost, I feel, I'm just lost, I feel. I need time to heal, I can't steer the wheel, cause this driving kills, and it gives me chills. A nice road it feels, I slip off the peel, and crash all the steel. Will I ever heal? I can't move on till I let go. I feel so lost, never at home. Need to be strong, every breath hold, cause I can't move on till I let go. I can't move on till I let go. I feel so lost, never at home. Need to be strong, every breath hold, cause I can't move on till I let go.
I'm muted. What's up, everybody? I'm going to actually pause my song real quick here because I'm going to actually play it a different way because I can't hear it. And I want to hear it. So.
Swear I won't forget.
Whoa, that's real loud, bro. Chill. There we go. Okay. Let's get that playing. There we. Wait, I can't hear it anymore. Yeah. Such a good song. I love this thing. Yeah, it's a good song. I like it. It's on the YouTube library, music library. So it's all good. It's all good. Chi. How's everybody doing? Shout out to Davenport University. Thank you for putting me up on your big screen. That's kind of nerve-wracking. Yeah. All right, September 18th. What are we going to be talking about today? We're talking about Hue Fest. We're talking about Hue, what I've seen on the timeline. I'm going to turn my mic down a little bit. I'm a little hot. We've got some special guests today. I have Kelvin. Kelvin's here. Sorry, Kelvin. You can go back to nap. Sleeping. Yeah, if my cats jump on my desk, it's because my door is unlocked and they are all up in my business. We'll talk about Hue today. We're going to be talking about CVAL signups and C-Lowell signups and why, if I was GG Tech, I'd be a little freaked out. I want to talk a little bit about, I guess, the latest, I think the next big thing that'll kind of hit collegiate esports in terms of conversation. It's going to be multiple teams competing at the highest level from the same school. I want to touch on that a little bit. I think that's going to get pretty hot here over the next year. And then I'll tease. We just saw on Twitter a new collegiate talk show that's happening. I'll tease that at the end, which is super exciting. So, yeah. How's everybody's competition going? Anyone have matches so far? How are your matches going? Throw them in chat. If it's going well, let us know. If it's not, you can let us know that too. Or you can just hide. It happens. Happens to the best of us. I am 3 weeks into teaching, and that has been awesome. There we go. 3-1 in ABC. Nice. Let's go. Massive dub. Super hype. Let's see. Making sure my Twitter bot or my Discord bot's doing what it's supposed to do. Just got our 2 Ferris Rocket League teams signed up for NACE Varsity Plus today. Varsity Plus registration closes tonight. So if you're planning on doing that, get it in. Oh, I don't like that screen. I'm still playing around with like my actual screen setup on how I want to run this show. I also need to work on better like starting screen with maybe some animation and then a thanks for watching screen, because right now I don't even think I have a thanks for watching screen. I think I just have like a talk to you later or I just use a starting soon or a be right back. Yeah, I don't think I have a thanks for watching screen. Yeah, I don't. I have an offline screen. Awkward. I'll work on that. It's a project. It's a project. Got a little bit of I've been gaming a little bit more again, and I think I'm getting a little bit of nerve pain. For the last like 3 days, I've had a lot of numbness in my forearm. And that wasn't good. Is not good. I haven't died yet, so that's a positive. Because Google says top 2 are stroke or heart attack, and I'm like, well, I'm still standing, so that's good. Yeah, monitoring that situation. I think gaming's part of it. It was also I did a full day of photography, and after that is really when it hit. But I don't think gaming and using my mouse a lot is helping that situation. So that's fun. All right, so let's hop into this. Let's hop in. We are talking. Oh, that's what I forgot to put. I forgot to put the music on loop because I love a little bit of background music. Let's talk about 2 things hopped up on my timeline that I wanted to shout out. And I know a couple other programs do things that are similar to this, but I think it's super cool, and I want to just call special attention to it. Score highlights for the entire week. Pretty cool. I'm trying to figure out why I have a loading thing here. 1 second. Display capture. No. Face cam. Oh, not that one. There we go. Northwood with a weekly update. This graphic is pretty cool. It has like each game and then what the results were with the team's logo. I think that's pretty cool. So shout out to Northwood for doing this because I think it's awesome. Lets your fans kind of get the synopsis without actually going through anywhere. It's also really difficult to find scores anywhere. I think what you could add to this is like what league it's in. But overall, I thought this was really cool. It just hopped up on my timeline. They posted it. Oh, it was yesterday. Kind of echoey. Why am I echoey? If I mute the music, does it fix it? Check. Oh. How about that? For some reason on that one, it was picking up my camera thing. But that should be better. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Let me put the music back on because I like music, and that wasn't the problem. Turn that music just up a little tad. Yeah, that was weird. That scene had my face cam as an audio source. Why? I don't know. It happens, I guess. But yeah, shout out to Northwood for this. This is super cool. The other one I wanted to do was Siena Heights has been doing this for a while, I believe. But a cool little graphic. I think it's actually a video. Like it's a video graphic because they have this little GIF thing playing. But an overview of their schedule for the week. Super cool. Another one. Really simple thing you can get done. And this one says Lowell 66 games. So that's actually the tournament they're doing. DreamHack qualifier. These ones don't say what league it is, but super cool, super easy. Someone can throw that into their calendar or remind themselves to watch. Things I would add on this is just like where can they watch or if they can watch. And then maybe league. But overall, another really cool idea. Shout out to Siena Heights. Michigan representing on my timeline. The algorithm knows. Like I said, I don't think they're the first ones to do some of these, but they're the ones that I saw today, so super cool. If you can do something like that with your program, I kind of recommend it. It's a good idea. All right, let's talk about Hugh. Talk about Hugh Fest. All right, so first thing, I want to congratulate the teams. Lugnuts is in chat. What's up? My marketing department was 100% against weekly matches because of the possibility of reschedules and couldn't convince them otherwise. That's fair. There are a lot of reschedules. It's very difficult to promote matches in the current state of collegiate esports. I get that. I think what I've encouraged people to do in the past, and I have a YouTube video about this, is like confirming with your opponent like a week ahead that they're going to be there and everything's good to go. Because at that point, these reschedule amounts and the no-shows and the forfeits decrease so drastically in my experience. So yeah, I get that though. There's just so many reschedules that happen. It's hard to convince. Hugh Fest, or Hugh Invitational is now what it's called. Shout outs to the teams that won Valorant. UST won Valorant. League of Legends, Winthrop University won League, which I think was, I don't know if it was necessarily a surprise, but it was a big dub. Josh Sides, the director, tweeted like 6 times at Hugh Fest, finally coming home with a trophy, so shout out to him. That's super exciting. And then Rocket League was St. Edward's University. I'm not super on top of the Rocket League scene at the highest level, although I should be coaching the team this year at Ferris. But that was not a team I expected to win something like that with that level of skill. Now, there are some notable teams missing from Hugh, including Northwood. So we'll see how that how all of those teams who are at Hugh end up faring in CRL, and then those qualifiers which are coming up. If you haven't signed up for CRL qualifiers or gotten that information, you probably should look into that. Overall, from my sentiment, my feeling from Hugh on the timeline, I was not there. So that's the first stipulation. I was not there. But the sentiment seems super overwhelmingly positive. A ton of people on the timeline said it was an awesome event. Some even said it was the best LAN they've been to.
I'll get into why I'm skeptical of that. But overall, super awesome. I think the another big positive on this one was that it was student ran for the most part. I believe Kyber and the staff of the Harrisburg esports program helped out as well, did some TOing, but overall it was student ran and super positive from what I've been seeing. Smooth competition, smooth tournament, ton of great teams were there. Notable teams missing. I mean, you didn't have a Fisher, you didn't have a Northwood. There was some miscommunication and some fumbling of the ball there a little bit in terms of prize pool communication, but when they got so much negativity towards them about no prize pool, they somehow found one, and after that it seemed super positive, which is great. Here's my hype, or my spice of the day. Here's a hot take. This is gonna have to get clipped, and I'm gonna have to post this, but I personally think Q is so overhyped. I think it's the most overhyped collegiate event in North America. And I think it's just so fascinating and so interesting that it has been put on this pedestal of the premier beginning of the year competition in the entire continent for the last 5 or 6 years. And at one point, I think it deserved it, but I don't think that. I think that time's over. I think it sounds like it was a great tournament. People enjoyed it. Fantastic. Kudos to them. I mean, it looked cool, but the amount of hype I think is just too much. Too much in my opinion. Here are my reasonings. All right. First of all, the event took place in a large conference room and a large classroom, which I think is very achievable for most people trying to run an event. Pause there. Lugnuts here. Do you think it's because it was or it is one of the only lands that is at the beginning of the year? See a different. Yes, I believe it's the only thing in town at that time of the year. I think it's one of the only. I mean, we'll talk in terms of the overall landscape. There's not a lot of options in terms of LAN events, which is really depressing. I think we need to continue to grow those. But also they somehow convinced the top teams to come out to their event. And I think that's we saw a little bit of a decrease in that with Fisher and Northwood backing out / not going. And I think we'll continue to see that because it sounds, I don't know, it's just a very expensive investment for these schools to make. And I don't know if you get the return on it. The prize pool helps. I don't even know what the prize pool ended up being. But yeah. If they didn't have the prize pool, a lot of teams wouldn't come. Probably not. Harrisburg's campus is pretty small. Yeah, it's like one building. It's like a business building in the middle of downtown. What's up, Stu Nash? From what I've been told, people were DMing me asking if there was a stream for this Harrisburg thing during the event, especially in the beginning. I don't think they had a broadcast for a lot of the beginning of the tournament. And then I got a message from someone that's like, oh, now there's one up. And it's so baffling to me because I think they had this last year where they didn't broadcast the first couple rounds of the tournament. They might not even broadcast the first day last year. Now, last year was such a disaster in terms of the experience for players and teams that, like, as long as they showed up this year and, like, had a bracket that worked and a broadcast of the finals, like, they were going to get this high praise. Like, that's my feeling. I think they went above and beyond that minimum. But yeah, I think last year was just so bad. The whole prize pool was not a good look. Yeah, I agree. There's some messages that I was sent about, like, on the back end about the prize pool thing, and it was not a good look. It was not. No bueno. Is all I'll say. I don't know how all of a sudden they got that money. I don't know either. But the backlash from the community was probably not a good look that Harrisburg and their administration wanted to deal with after last year. Yeah, and they somehow backtracked. when people started backing out. Yeah. I mean, after last year, I think the there were people who lost their jobs over last year. Last year. So like, this was not the year to do something negative. Like, it was like, let's get in, let's make a solid event and move on. But let me show you, what Hugh Fest was when it first started. At least in 2018. Hugh Fest in 2018 was a massive event that was in an arena on their campus or right next door that had like a crowd. Like, all these teams were going. Like, this was a premier event. It actually, like, they call it Hugh Fest because it was a whole festival. There was music at night. But this tournament happened on the stage in Harrisburg. Like, it is hype. It's huge. It's cool. It's not in a conference room. Like, this is worth it. This is like, yes, let's go. Like, this is worth the hype. Now, what Hugh is now is cool and awesome and great for the space, but the hype, I just think it's overhyped. And for those people who like don't get invited, like, it sucks. It also sucks. Like, I get that, but I think we put too much credit into it, you know? What's up, Linzer? Speaking of the awesome staff, who ran the event, no, but like I said, I think it was overall good event. Sounds like it was awesome. Like, I have not seen anything negative from people who attended the event, which is cool. I think that's a massive positive. When schools are spending thousands on transportation for this, you can't just drop that kind of thing. Sounds like it ended up being a good event. Yeah. I'm not a huge fan of prize pools, to be honest. Like, I could care less on prize pools, and that was me as a director. But there are programs that recruit students through using language that's like, come win money. So like, for some programs, it's super important. For most programs, I'd argue that it's really not important. It actually confuses and I don't know, makes life more difficult, in my opinion. And I've had that take for years. I mean, I said something along the lines of that like 2 years ago and got a bunch of backlash on Twitter. Since then, I think the sentiment has moved my direction for most directors. I don't know. It's the same 3 or 4 schools that win all the prize money. So like, why are the majority of directors, why would they want prize pools? Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. But yeah, overall, like I said, I thought it sounds like it was super positive. My argument or my spice on the timeline is I think it's overhyped. And I think what the space needs to do is put on more regional events. Like what Hugh Fest or Hugh Invitational is something that other schools could easily replicate, and should be replicating. Shout out to Harrisburg for actually doing it, but I think way more schools could be doing something like that, in that event. And I think they should. There needs to be more opportunity for in-person events, regionally for more schools. Thank you so much for the Twitch Prime sub, Keelan. I appreciate you. Yeah, we just need to have more events. Students need more opportunity, and it needs to be focused on not just the top 10 schools. I love what UMass is doing with their WooMass Invitational. I actually haven't heard anything about WooMass, so that sounds cool. I like the name. Student run event for New England area schools. That sounds dope. Do it. We need more of that. I just did my lecture for my online intro to esports event management course. And I was just talking about how like there's just no opportunity. There's so few LAN events regionally for the majority of schools. Like, yes, the top tier schools can go find LANs once every 2 months or so, but outside of those top teams, there's just no opportunity. And it's unfortunate. There's an increasingly high or an increasing number of Smash tournaments happening in Michigan for collegiate teams. Michigan State keeps putting on Smash events and working with local area event is happening next weekend. That's a Smash tournament for college teams and high school teams. But outside of Smash, there's just nothing in Michigan, which is really depressing. 66 games we mentioned earlier. I think is that happening next weekend? That's in Illinois. Again, that's another one of those invitation, or you have to be invited to go to. It's top league teams. Again, we need more LAN opportunities for schools outside that top tier of team. And I think they're totally doable. I think a lot of times, like the excitement and praise around these LANs is not on putting together something that is super high quality, like professional quality. It's just like putting on an event that students and teams can come compete in. And it's usually not something like you walk into the space and you're like, whoa. It's more like, hey, we're competing in person and like seeing our opponent, and there's camaraderie happening between teams and schools. Like, that's awesome. And then you leave the event and you're like, this is so hype. Even if you look out of it and remove that emotion, you're like, oh, this is like 20 computers in a conference room. Like, we could do this. This is not crazy, insane to do, you know? That's my thing. Wait, are you talking to them? Oh, you're talking about UMass. Kentucky did a solid job holding lands last year. Awesome. That's good to know. Oh, that's not what I want. A lot cheaper for Smash to put on lands. Yes, it is. And it's a lot easier to guarantee people show up. But we need people or schools or teams to hold more in-person competition for other game titles. And we need other regional directors to support those events by coming. But I don't know. It's hard because third parties aren't going to make money off of these events. So the planning and the actual hosting needs to come from probably a school or a team. An internal program has to put these on, because they're probably going to operate at a loss or breaking even if they use student volunteers as a way to build resumes, you know? But that's also how like small school athletics happen. Like when I was at Aquinas, we hosted the national championship for NAIA lacrosse, and like everyone in the athletic department, all the coaches were like doing volunteer work to help put this thing on. But those are the experiences that students like will never forget, and that make it all worth it, in my opinion. 66 as a qualifier first, and then I think the event is next month. Oh, I didn't know there was a qualifier. Interesting. Okay. Okay. Well, either way, there's these events that are happening and being put on that benefit the top tier of competition, but there's a lot more schools that I think should want opportunities, and I don't know, someone should provide them. That's been a common theme in my last month of just assessing the collegiate space. It's like, we need more in-person events regionally, or in-person competition. I've been to that lacrosse tournament. Hey, there you go. What's up? I was the official photographer in 2018. I don't remember which one it was. Must have been 2019, right before COVID. Do you like invitationals or qualifiers more? I like invitationals. I like invitationals because I think there's enough competition right now to support the top teams. Like even 2 years ago, like, was it 2 years ago? Northwood's Rocket League team, like, they each won like $24,000 in prize money. Like, there's enough competition to support those teams. I'd argue that they could do more in-person stuff, like if someone was putting something on, but there's just no opportunity for a team that isn't going to win a qualifier to find in-person competition. I don't know. So invitationals, I guess, would be my thing on that. I know some of their students through hosting my own events for NECC. How does it go? The last 2 lanes I put on for NECC were for our middle division teams, and they had a great time. Hey, that's awesome. Boom. Super cool. Yeah, I don't know. There's also like a part of me that questions if those middle tier teams and low tier teams are willing to pay to travel. I don't know that specifically. I think that would vary by program, but there's just not even an option to test it out or give that option. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, anything else on Hugh Fest I have? Or Hugh? No. Generally, I mean, like I said, I have not seen anything negative about Hugh on the timeline, which is baffling to me. Like, there's always something negative, which is so weird. I don't know what happened. Maybe everyone's gone soft. Maybe that's it. Because this was the same thing with NECC's announcement of the Big Ten conference. Or the big esports conference. It's like, where's the negative? I'll allow it. There's like, well, unless if Nace is tweeting. If Nace tweets, we see the negative. But like, even the most negative people in collegiate esports that I loathe, that I mean, I talk to on a regular basis because we respect each other, but I loathe the people who are super negative, like all the time. Like, even them, they posted positive stuff about Hugh. So I don't know. It's too big. What's too big? What do you mean? Hugh's too big? No, that's not. Oh, yeah, the conference. Yeah, it's just too big. Yeah, you don't want to go. I don't know. It's just so weird to me that maybe it's a positive. Maybe it's good. Everyone's positive now. Everyone's, I don't know, all sunshine and rainbows. Except me. Maybe I'm the cynical old guy now. It's like, when's Adam gonna leave? He's so negative. I'm like the angry guy. Get off my lawn. I don't know. Maybe I'm becoming what I hate. Hey, I don't know. I don't think I am. I just like I like to be skeptical. I like to question. I like to be realistic. I don't know. But yeah, it was good. It's also refreshing to see an event get such positive feedback. Because it helps with my impressions when there's negative stuff happening, but I don't really need my impressions to hit anything because I don't make money off of that or off of this. So it is what it is. Like, positive's good for the space. So yeah, overall good stuff from Hugh. Shout out to them. It was super cool to hear that it was mainly student ran, which is super awesome. So hats off to them for putting it on. But yeah, all I would say is I think we need other people in the space to be putting on similar events, and I think it's totally doable. All right, let's shift to CVAL signups. So, okay. So CVAL fall signups opened 6 days ago. Opened September 12th. They close October 8th. So we're 6 days into registration. And guess how many teams are signed up for the official CVAL fall tournament? Put your guesses in chat. Put them out there. Put them out in chat. This is Valorant. This is like the most popular game title in all of collegiate esports. Anyone got a guess? 274. Good guess. Love it. We got a good guess. Anyone else have a guess? How many teams are currently signed up for CVAL? 360. Okay. Yeah, that's a good guess. 60, either like 1,000 or like 15 because everyone waits till the last day. At least 5. Wow. Hey, would you believe me if I said you're all wrong and there's only 2 teams registered for CVAL right now? Because that's the truth right there. There are literally 2 teams signed up for the official CVAL tournament. Yes, it's real. This is the website. It's on universityesports.us. Here's the 4 regions. There are literally 2 teams signed up. There are a ton of hoops to go through. I totally get that. Totally get that. This is probably not even a surprise to the TOs in the chat. But I'm gonna just be real right now. If I was GG Leap or GG Tech, sorry, I'd be a little freaked out right now, okay? hopefully they can see on the back end like the situation of like how many teams have like maybe started their creation. There's a couple things you have to do in terms of like verifying your student eligibility, etc., and hopefully that's starting to happen. But I'd be a little freaked out right now after my $3 million investment. Okay. And being the official league. Is it because of the transcript hoops? I would guess yes, partly. I would guess that 90% of it is because we wait until the last minute to do anything. But this low number almost corrected you on 3 million. Yeah. Okay. Whatever, Dylan. Dylan's got all the details. Yeah, whatever. Okay. It's not actually like an investment. They're just, I don't know, whatever. There's stuff, but whatever. They just made they're making a significant investment. They won this thing. Maybe Riot should be freaking out a little bit of like, hey, why do there only 2 teams signed up? I don't know. How is it possible completed or compared to last year? I don't know. So registration is open until October 8th, I believe. I think it's the 8th for all of them. Yep, October 8th. So there's plenty of time. But if I'm them, I'm a little freaked out and I'm going to start putting together a marketing plan. I did create my account. Hopefully this doesn't show anything. Where's the verify? Student verification. There's a release form. What? Successful action. File sent to user's email. Okay. There's all sorts of stuff you got to do with that. But hopefully we see some registration pop up. And related to that, CLOL, the fall warm-up, which they're running, their registration changed because I swear it was set earlier, like a week ago, to open. But now it is set to open tomorrow. And it's only open for 10 days. And if we're seeing Valorant with only 2 teams signed up after 6 days, I think we're going to have a significant problem from a CLOL sign-up perspective. And I think I foresee a massive headache for a lot of teams when they're trying to sign up for CLOL. So if you're planning on doing fall warm-up for CLOL, start now or tomorrow in terms of getting your students verifying things. Tyler put in chat, school registrars have to sign and stamp the player certification forms. This will be a massive hurdle for most programs. Agreed on that. I don't think it'll be a massive hurdle besides the fact that you have to convince your student to walk something over to the registrar's office. I don't foresee it being a problem in terms of like getting permission to sign it off, but it really is like having a student walk it over to the registrar or email it over and hoping the registrar doesn't get flooded in wait and all that stuff. How is that a hurdle? You should have a connection with your registrar and be able to go get that in a day. 100%. I'm assuming all you have to do is print something. Like the easiest way to do it would be to print something off, walk it over, and then get it signed. I'm assuming that's all you need. But you've got a lot of programs that are not like director overseeing everything and like hand holding students. Like you have a lot of programs that are like, all right, student, go do this. And then it's like a day before registration and the director's like, hey, have you done this? And the kid's like, no. And then it's Friday and the registrar's closed until Monday. Yeah. And I don't even think it's necessarily having a connection to your registrar. It's just like, I think all registrars are basically the same. It's like a desk or a person that you just walk over to that students have access to. But obviously getting a student to do all that can prove like a headache. Yeah. Student-led program struggle. Yeah, I completely agree with that. I think we'll see my guess is we'll see a very small, a drastic drop in student club registrations, at least for fall CLOL, at least is my guess, just because of that hurdle. It's just another logistical headache that students will have to figure out. And being a student and not having a staff member in charge makes that more difficult. Excuse me. Can confirm getting students to do anything on time is a hurdle. Yes. And I know you already know that GG Tech is going to get so many DMs as soon as registration closes. They're going to, I don't know if what their stance will be, if it's like a nope, hard no, or if it's like, hey, we're going to push registration back a week. They do have, so the 29th of September is when CELO closes. That's a Friday. And then the first matches are the next weekend. So there is some time in there. My guess is they'll either officially extend the deadline like 4 to 5 days, or they will like allow students to submit stuff 4 to 5 days after. And what you can do is just like throw out your schedule 2 days before, even though that's really annoying. I'm assuming GG Tech wants to be able to start showing Riot that they're bringing in decent participation and the landscape is open to working with them. So there is a little bit of that cushion built in there, but not much. When does actually I want to look at CVAL. So CVAL registration closes the 8th, and then you have 2 weeks. So there's even more cushion with Valorant. And I foresee they'll probably either officially push that back or in DMs allow some late verification. That's just how TOs operate in collegiate at this point, to be honest with you. Oh, well, that was a little fun. Yeah. Let's talk real quick about multiple teams. So, the classic example of this that everyone is talking about right now is obviously Fisher College. Fisher shows up on the Overwatch collegiate rankings with 4 of the top 20 teams. Fun fact. You've got Fisher Wisps, Fisher Men, which both competed in Hue as Overwatch teams. And then they have the Chips and the Navy. And the question is right now is having multiple teams at the highest level, should that be okay? Oh, dude, a Midwest Summit, please do it. Where do you want to do it? Where do you want to do it? Let's get it done. Let's get it done. Let's get it done. I think it would be massive. Michigan? Yeah, what part? The School of Michigan? Well, let's get it done. Let's get it done. I'll pull you and Palmer into a chat. Let's get it done. I think that'd be dope. Or is it already in the works? Da, 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 da. Okay. Now that I don't get off track too much. But the conversation, no, East is last summit. Well, shoot. I think it's fine giving people a chance to get schooling, but for national championship competitions, I think the admins need to restrict it to 1 team per school. Yeah, something in the spring. Yeah, I think putting something in the winter is just too risky when it comes to snow. So good call on that one. Yeah, I think ICE's thought on this, I think, is probably the common sentiment for most, at least in the higher levels of competition. It's tough seeing 4 teams from the same school in semifinals. Yeah, that would be a nightmare. My thought on this thing is that I just don't think this is good for the long-term health of the space. Now, I don't have solid numbers at this point or examples to call upon because it's never really happened. Northwood has historically had 2 Rocket League teams. But no one has had this many teams at that high of a level before. Fisher is the first. My question is, like, how do they get this much talent just walking out of here? Because I know that they're not giving full rides to every kid that walks through the door. So, like, is this what's possible? If you have one really good team, this many kids just show up? We haven't seen that number head to places like Northwood, or other schools that have that type of structure. But but I just don't see it as healthy long term. And part of that reasoning is storylines, excitement build around some of this competition. You talk about 4 teams in the semifinals. I talk about 2 teams in the finals. Really isn't that exciting. It also cuts viewership by half if you assume that each school is bringing in about half the viewership into a finals competition, which lower viewership is not healthy for any esports at any level. That we can confirm, I think, because viewership is what sells sponsorship dollars, which then fuels the entire industry, both collegiately and professionally. So I don't think that's good for the space. And I also think that congesting talent that that at that high of a concentration in one school, I just don't like it. I don't like it. Because right now, like, if you're talking about the NCAA, like, if Alabama could field 3 football teams, they could, and they could probably win. They could probably have a top 10 teams if they were able to do that. But again, I mean, devil's advocate is like, traditional sports isn't esports, which I understand the argument. It just doesn't feel like it's healthy for the space. Doesn't feel like that. Thanks for the follow, Thump. The best year of viewership in collegiate esports tournaments and community was probably 2015. I don't know. Well, CRL has historically had a massive, insane viewership. Now, I think it's probably common knowledge for those who are aware that most of that's fueled by drops being enabled on the Rocket League channel. But it's also a part of collegiate viewership that I think needs to be put into that. Yeah, because like we're talking collegiate competition with 40,000 concurrent viewers technically on Twitch. Now you'll probably come out with some stat or some hidden reasoning that you can't talk about because NDA to say why that's incorrect information, but I don't think that was happening back then. Little mini documentaries on schools before each match. Yeah. No, nothing like that. Why do I feel like you're being sarcastic? But I will say, like, from a content and viewership perspective, I think right now, this year, the content in collegiate esports has stepped up on average. I think there's a lot more schools that are creating some decent content around their players and broadcasts. I think it's great. I think what we've done is, I think the floor of which content was for collegiate has increased slightly on average. I don't think the ceiling has necessarily increased, but we're starting to see some effort put forth towards content, which is super exciting and positive, I would argue. Which publishers should be the ones doing it. Yeah. That's fair. Yeah, publisher. Yeah. Honestly, I think we're going to continue to see a decrease in investment from the developer side. Watch the video. What? Oh gosh. Here. Oh gosh. Oh goodness gracious. What? Oh no. Where did you send it? I don't have anything from you. Is it in? Put it. I don't know. It's in chat. What chat? I don't see it. It's not appearing on my Twitch chat. It's not in DMs. It's not in my... I don't know. I'm sure. Send it somewhere else. Okay. All right. Perfect. Oh, this is cool. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna pause this. I'll throw this. We can watch this together. So this is from C-Lol before I was C-Lol, which was U-Lol. 7 years ago.
Out of the Texas Esports Association is that you go in liking gaming, but you come out with a passion.
TESPA is the Texas Esports Association. It's pretty much the gamers club here at UT.
It's a great community that likes to support each other. Being a part of esports and getting to connect with people who are also a big part of esports, it's definitely been the defining part of my college experience so far.
I watched all the Lone Star clashes on Twitch, and I was really excited to come to UT to be a part of that.
I actually went to one of the Lone Star events live, and definitely inspired me to be a part of the esports scene here at Texas.
One of the really big things that we try to focus on a club is intercollegiate involvement with everyone around us. So having the privilege of hosting a giant league tournament of the best collegiate clubs in the nation was a really awesome opportunity.
I love the UT campus. I truly believe that UT is one of the best schools in Texas. Being able to play for their League of Legends team is really an honor, and
That's
in
super
their
cool.
conference playoffs.
I'm bringing this down a little bit.
Find the best team from each conference. Each of those teams compete.
Yeah, no, this content's cool. It would definitely be cool if publishers could do that. Seems like a great way to highlight different programs. Yeah, for sure. But again, I think what we're going to see is we're going to continue to see a drop in investment from developers. I don't think it's going to get better at this point. But a great example of what schools could be doing, or leagues could be doing. Yeah, that is cool. We'll never get CELO at the level it once was. It's depressing. We will? All right. Okay. The OG promises we will. It'll just be done by others. That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, no, like I said, I think collegiate content for esports has been increasing. I think this year it's pretty noticeable in terms of the increase in it. And programs seem to be putting more emphasis on it, talking about it, doing media days and stuff, which is super cool to see. And hopefully that translates to more positive recruitment, more interest from companies to get involved, dollars, which I think is happening. Yeah, just in general boost from a marketing perspective for the space, which I think, hopefully it does. Last thing that I want to touch on is I just saw something on Twitter. A new collegiate talk show. How dare they? Based on what we saw from Hugh, I think we'll see a lot more high quality LAN content by schools this year. That'd be awesome. Yeah, I already watched Maryville's, which is student ran, or a student does a lot of that content with Shipley helping, and it was cool. I liked it. I think it was cool. It made the team more personable. But talking about this new show, Bass from the Past, after CRL announced they're cutting their B stream, a couple of these streamers or these casters were like, okay, I guess we're out. I'm looking for work. And then now we have an announcement today that says they're introducing the Champ League podcaster show, and it's going to be on the College Carball channel. I don't know the details on how this came to be, but it'd be interesting to know, like, who pitched this. Is there money exchanging hands, etc.? I think it's pretty decent, but we'll watch it.
Did you miss me in my horrible CRL takes? Fantastic, then I think I've got the perfect solution for you. Introducing the Champ League podcast / show, or whatever you want to call it. My friends over at CCA, the College Carball channel, have decided to give myself and some of my closest amigos our very own show to talk about Collegiate Rocket League every single week. Starting this week on Friday at 2:30 PST, or maybe a different time, it is subject to change, we will be talking about everything going on in the Collegiate Rocket League scene, from rosters to rumors to results to even a weekly power ranking from some of the best minds that Collegiate Rocket League has to offer. Now, you might be wondering, who are my closest amigos and these great minds that I'll be bringing onto the show? Well, it's none other than Taco, Hercules, Seb Dot, and Vodable. In addition to them, there's also going to be a rotating special guest on a weekly basis, so you guys are going to have to tune in to make sure that you catch all of the action. Now, you might be wondering, where do you tune in? It is none other than the College Carball channel. Twitch.tv/College Carball will be the home for every single one of these shows and all of the atrocious takes that will be coming out of my mouth about Collegiate Rocket League. In addition to that, if you guys want to follow the Twitter that has just been created as well, the Champ League podcast has its very own Twitter at Champ League Show here on Twitter. It's going to be linked down below, so you guys don't mind giving that a follow. We're going to be putting out all of the updates for the show, all of the hottest takes, and all of the reasons why the West Coast is the best coast in all of CRL.
Whoa.
So if that statement got you a little bit riled up, perfect. I think the rest of the statements we make on this show are going to do the exact same thing. So if you want all of the hottest takes,
tier
all
list.
of the worst opinions from CRL, make sure to tune into the podcast.
That's a hot take. I would argue too. That's a hot take. West Coast is the best coast. I don't think that has ever happened in CRL.
A little bit more knowledge on CRL, or heck,
I don't think
even
anyone
someone
thinks
who
that.
maybe don't know CRL, but are looking to watch some sort of professional Rocket League, as we have a little bit of a gap coming up here for this fall and winter. Make sure to check out the podcast. Make sure to follow the Twitter, and I will see you guys on the show.
Yeah. Devin says independent content creators. That's what I like about this generation, though. I agree. I think this is gonna be awesome. I think this is awesome. What a cool thing for to turn things around in this way of like, hey, we aren't going to be on stream, but now we can do a show, and a show focused on CRL, collegiate esports. Hopefully it sets the tone of what other people could do. I was just in another Discord today. We were talking about, someone asked, like, is there a place to find scores? No. The answer is no. There's not like one place you can find scores for everybody. And if they actually talk about like rumors of rosters, rumors of things happening, they talk about power rankings. Obviously, I love the idea of power rankings. They just are always awful, and there's always somebody who can come up with a reason why they're bad, but they generate content. I think being on the College Cardball channel will be cool. And I'm really interested to see how it goes. I think it's awesome. I think more content like this is positive, especially if it's coming from people who are used to creating content and have followings. I know Bass from the past has been doing some CRL stuff for a while. And I'm excited to see this show, how it goes. I'll be watching, most likely, probably not live, because it's like Fridays. What time is that? 6:30 Eastern? 6:30 Eastern? No, 5:30. 5:30 Eastern. It's a little interesting time. But I do like the content being created, or like live content that's happening not during practice and match schedule times. I think that's a positive. I'm all about it. Hence why I do my show when I do. As a personality and content creator talking about stuff, yeah, that's something we never had even at peak. Yeah, I think these like general shows about collegiate esports, I think, are just generally positive and healthy for the space, because even if it's trash, someone else will watch and be like, I could do it better, and then either do it or like generate more content off of clips from that show saying like, hey, this is why this is bad. And like, I don't know. I think sometimes it's the people who do it first inspire other people to do it better. And that I think is exciting. Because I do think there needs to be more content on the space in general. But yeah, I don't know. That's why I'm always trying to hype up other shows and other people doing this. Or like, if I've had people come up to me or message me like, hey, I'm thinking about doing a show on collegiate esports. Is that okay? Like, I am the arbiter. And they're afraid that like they're taking my idea. I'm like, no, do it, because we need more content. We need more people talking about collegiate esports. My audience is going to be different than yours. There's going to be different people who follow you that are excited to watch you talk about collegiate esports. Your takes will be different. Your knowledge of the space is different. Shout out to Esports and Coffee, who is super centered on diversity in the space, and specifically like women in gaming and esports. Like, they created a show that's about collegiate esports, scholastic esports, but in a different way, which is super awesome. And I think more content, the better. And I think a focus on CRL is super cool. I think CRL has a great engaged audience, specifically players who compete in CRL. And I think it's just going to be generally cool. So if anybody has an idea of a show they want to start, like, do it. If you have questions, I just recommend starting. I think I don't know, it's fun. I have fun doing this, and it's super chill. I don't know. What else? There wasn't a ton of other spice in the timeline this week, which is good. I think everyone's kind of excited. Busy. Actually, I don't know why I said excited. I would say busy with the season now. As the season progresses, I think we'll probably see more spice on the timeline. But I think that's about it. Hopefully you all hopefully your competition's going well. All the Scholar Awards nominations, excited to see you made finalists 100%. When do finalists get announced for that? Actually, we have a panelist in chat. When is that being announced? It just closed on the 15th. I thought it was like a couple days. You don't know. You're the one who's going through it. You're going through. Let me look. I'm looking. There's a timeline somewhere. It's not a good sign if the panelist they haven't talked about who's going to be a finalist yet. I don't know if they publicly say if the Scholar Awards process is different. Oh yeah. Community votes account for 25% in the final decision, and the panel's votes for 25 or 75%. But that's only final votes. How are finalists selected? Finalists are selected by our panel after extensive research. So basically the nominations are put out, but then the finalists are decided. Leak. I'm not, they reminded me this morning that I didn't submit my nominations. Apparently I have my own nominations thing, but I nominated through public nominations. Oh, interesting. For those of you who have not sat on a panel for these awards yet, let me open the curtain a little bit. For the most part, public nominations are a way to create hype, maybe to get some ideas, but for the most part, panelists usually have all the say in who becomes a finalist. Sometimes the panelists don't even look at the nominations from the public, or if they do, it's like a generalized sheet with a counted a notch of how many people mentioned this name, etc. In this case, I'm not on this committee, so I cannot talk about the Scholar Awards. I'm just saying generally, Stu Nash, who's on the committee, says they do look at public nominations. They're mixed with our nominations, which sounds confusing, but that's good. The panels I've sat on are generally, it's like, look at the public nominations. Anyone who's been mentioned more than a couple times, like, we throw into the loop as we discuss. And then the panelists decide like who they feel deserves to be a finalist. And then in the case of the Scholar Awards, those finalists are announced. 25% is community vote, 75% is the panelist vote, which basically means the panelists decide who wins. So yeah, just to be aware of that situation. Where is the, I just was looking at it. I'm looking for the timeline. Cutoff date for voting is November 16th. Where is okay, there was this date. This is, there was a timeline somewhere. Oh, I think it's in the video from the CEO of Esports Awards. Let me look to see. I'm just scrolling through this video. November 28th is the actual award show. September 21st is when finalists are announced, it appears. So, finalists should be announced on Thursday or the next couple days following that. That should be exciting. I think depending on how they release those finalists, if they do it all at once, I'm all about doing a special edition of Banter with Antor. If they do it over the course of a couple days, I'll just do it on next Monday's show. But I think that would be super legit, super spicy. What's interesting to note is that there is a good chunk of people on that panel that are from the UK, which adds a interesting flavor to the process. Esports Awards is a company based out of the UK. The UK is doing quite a bit of stuff. Like there's decent growth from a scholastic standpoint over there. So I'm not saying it's like not worth it, but it does add some interesting head scratchers sometimes. Yeah, worth noting there. Cool. Scholar Awards. Things going to get spicy on the timeline, most likely. Although maybe people don't get spicy because they don't want to ruin their chances of winning if they're a finalist. There's a lot of awards, so there's a lot of room to be finalists. A lot more than in past years. So I expect a lot of names coming out, which will be exciting. It's good. It's positive. Yeah, it should be fun. We need a second Revolutionary War. Oh my gosh. I don't think so. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm past my time. I am 2 minutes over. I will say on the Scholars Award thing, like I'm at like 75% going to be attending. I'm haven't quite committed yet. I'm already in Vegas for TwitchCon and EBS like a couple weeks before, and Vegas is expensive, but redeemed to ask a question. Thank you. But Esports Awards last year was super fun to go to. It was good. It was a good experience. There was a lot of people who came that was super fun to hang out with, and they're doing a little bit of a summit, networking, learning, professional development stuff during the day for the collegiate scene this year. So might be worth attending. I'm almost solid on going. I just have to kind of have to pull the trigger on that one. We'll see. Yeah. All right. I'm overtime. You all have practices to run. You have matches to do, etc. I'm going to let y'all go get some dinner if that's your spiel. I'm going to go run. You spent your points. Thank you. I appreciate you for spending your points with me, or my points. To ask you a question, I have no answers. I got no answers. What question? Poopy, poop, poo, poo, poopy. I don't know how to, I have no comments at this time. You can, reach out to my publicist. Yeah. Congrats on your latest run thing. Thank you. I am doing, my marathon is in 19 days. 19 days. I'm doing a marathon. I did do a 10-mile run this past weekend. 10-mile race was super awesome. And then my longest run in my training for my marathon was last Monday or something. And I ran 22 miles, which was crazy. Is your publicist the same publicist? I don't want him to make fun of me. I don't know who my publicist is. You ran 23. Boom, let's go. So marathon's 26. So I'll be running 26 miles in 20 days. We'll see how it goes. I'm excited. I've been running like crazy. Okay, I appreciate all for stopping by. Thank you to Keelan for the sub. I really appreciate that. But good luck on all your matches, players, coaches, directors. Good luck on your events. Good luck on your TOing. Good luck on just having a great week. And we will be back next week. Unless if all the finalists for Scholar Awards drops on Thursday, then we will do a special edition either on Thursday or Friday. But y'all are in my Discord already, so you'll get pinged. Have a great weekend. Not a weekend. Have a great week and a good evening. And we'll talk later. Bye.